Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. This is from Scholars Games in Brockton, Massachusetts, part of our monthly vintage series. The next one coming up June 16th, which is just a couple of weekends away. And here I am on Dredge versus John's very aggressive outcome deck. He is on the full-blown combo version, running cards like Wheel of Fortune and Windfall. We will see here shortly who is on the play. Looks like John contemplating his keep, and I'll be mulling to 6. The Dredge deck's now really dependent on Bazaar of Baghdad. You've got Serum Powders as well as the 4 Bazaars. There's no chance really of stopping until you get Bazaar. Leyline of the Void. Very few narrow exceptions to that. In the mirror, for example, Leyline of the Void could be a near auto win for you, depending on how well equipped they are to be able to play without their graveyard. But for the most part, Bazaar, Baghdad, or bust. There it is, Bazaar. Trying. Going to be keeping here. I got the Leyline to go with it as well. John leading out. A Metalcraft. Time Walk. 3 Moxes. No land yet. And Grim Monolith. Into Chrome Mox, Yawgmoth's Will, a fairly reasonable card to go ahead and imprint on that. It's certainly dead with Leyline of the Void. However, it is only tapping for black mana, and John essentially hellbent here. Discarding 3, Unmask, hitting that last card, which is a Hurkyl's Recall. Probably pretty happy that the Hurkyl's wasn't imprinted. That would have given him access to more blue mana. That's really what John's going to want here. He's going to want either a Paradoxical Outcome or perfect Preordain. Start digging. Looks like Ruby and a Volcanic Island. Neither of those is going to be good enough. And he draws into a mystery card. Has to pass the turn. Dredge on its way here. Grave Troll. But out of dredgers, so Grave Troll, the only dredger available right now. Worth noting that the Kolgan was discarded to unmask. That's going to stop the fastest of combo kills. Kolgan giving all of your creatures haste as well as adding an additional 6 power to the board. Very often ending the game in a single one-hit KO. John with another Preordain. Card pulls so much weight right now in vintage draw engine. Defense Grid and a land for turn. So we've perhaps expecting with that keep Paradoxical Outcome on top of the deck. And there are the Narcomoebas. And here, perhaps going to be severely punished with that card being on top of the library, having been kept from Preordain. It is almost certainly a card like Time Twister or Paradoxical Outcome, something that's going to blow this game wide open. And right now, it would be great to be able to dread return a Kolgan, but instead, going to have to settle for Elishnorn. And Colgan would have been lethal here. So John has a turn. Looks like he's going to make use of it. Here it goes right off the top. Five mana. And there it is, the namesake of the deck, Paradoxical Outcome. Gonna draw him 6 cards and net some mana. Or 5 cards. Rebuilding Soul Ring into the mix now. See what else he has. 2 black mana floating. Happens to be what you need for Tendrils. Grim Monolith and another black. We have another Paradoxical Outcome here. Chrome Mox likely would be played first if that were the case. Going to use the blue in Brainstorm. And there's the Merchant Scroll. That Chrome Mox going to enable the 2 blue necessary. One Merchant Scroll. Oh, and there's Lotus. That's going to do. Oh, and he's got the Paradoxical Outcome in hand already. So this game is just over at this point. My goodness. All of the mana in the world. All he really needs is some way to get a Tendrils into hand. A flurry of artifacts coming down. And we see a Vamp Tutor. And that actually could have done it right there. Gitaxian Probe plus Vamp Tutor would have gotten the Tendrils. Let's see how he actually chooses to wrap this whole thing up. An embarrassment of riches here. And another Paradoxical Outcome. This one's just going to generate all of the manas. And there we go. Vampiric Tutor finally grabbing the Tendrils and going to draw into it with Paradoxical Outcome. Easy peasy right there. So victory for John. And really stemming back to the decision to get rid of Colgan out of the opener. So many games in Vintage can look like they have so much to do with just luck or variance. But that game, if you really take a look, was entirely decision-based. There were a lot of random events that happened, but it's how we negotiate and navigate through all of the randomness of the game that is the mark of a strong player. And we see there my choices definitely suboptimal and really being the difference between victory and defeat. Certainly for that game. But we'll see in games 2 and 3 what can be done about that. Hollow ones coming in. Hopefully going to be able to put some pressure on with those. Gurmag Angler as well, a powerful option. Ingot Chewer and Nature's Claim, both considerations here. Paradoxical Outcome does not like its mana base being attacked. However, there are plenty of times where it can just blow past any type of pesky 1-for-1 disruption. Cards like Null Rod, very, very powerful against it, but not quite at the point where Dredge would consider running that. 2 mana is a pretty big ask particularly when you're talking about workshop decks where they can tax your mana, and cards like Pithing Needle are typically a little bit more manageable, being half the cost, still doing much of the same work. We'll have a lot of time off the clock there in game one. John's deck, very, very fun. You know, talking about really just the most powerful cards that have ever been printed. Cards like Wheel of Fortune and Time Twister, those draw sevens. There's an element of fun to that, which is kind of hard to explain to people who haven't played it. I mean, you really got to sleeve that up and play and know the anticipation of you might be about to win, or you might be giving yourself a garbage hand and your opponent could draw into the nuts. It's that type of variance which, you know, can really be a lot of fun and is a difficult thing to manage. You know, you really have to make sure that you think through your lines, and you know, your goal is to minimize your variance in many cases, in order to make sure that you can guarantee victory. But there are other times where you just have to embrace it and see what happens. Unmask coming out here, and Preordain along with Lotus and Ruby and Jet. An interesting situation. Lotus may have been the clear pick there. Preordain taken instead. Ball Therapy left in hand for Dredge. Hard to imagine. There's not that many cards that you can draw off of Preordain that would be better than Black Lotus. Lotus allows for so many explosive plays. Bridge from Below, Ball Therapy. One more going to be going to the graveyard off of this Bizarre activation. And Narcomoeba drawing for turn. Still no Dredger. Bloodghast coming in. Prized Amalgam triggering. So going to be taking a slow route here. Ball Therapy could be used, and it is. So Therapy going to have to name blind here, and it's just 2 lands. Prized Amalgam coming in, so 5 damage has been set for a clock. That Bloodghast will be able to come back and put it into a 7 damage per turn situation, but John drawing very live off the top of the deck with plenty of mana. 6 total mana. That's enough to Demonic Tutor into something sick. Even Merchant Scroll into Paradoxical Outcome is a draw 3 from here. Potentially refill pretty easily. So Gush happening. 2 blue floating. And Preordain seeing Tendrils and Paradoxical Outcome. I'm sorry, Ponder, I should say. And what is the storm here? This could actually do it. We could see the door shut right now. Sensei's top. Very, very interesting scenario here. That Paradoxical Outcome, depending on if the Sensei's top was in his hand, would be drawing either 3 or more cards here. But he's got to pass the turn. So really right on the edge of just certain death. There's a hollow one. So lethal damage on board. But John with Paradoxical Outcome and Tendrils accessible here. So that Lotus going to be for 3 blue, leaving a blue mana. We'll see if he leaves blue or black. He opts for the blue. There's that Tendrils. 5 mana, able to tap Sensei's Top and respond with Paradoxical Outcome. And with the other Paradoxical Outcome in hand, that's going to be game. He's going to be able to pick these up, or put them down, pick them up, drop them one more time, and then Tendrils for the win. Let's see if he just takes that line. Sensei's Top coming down. 2 colorless. And there we go one more time. 1 black mana floating. Jet, as well as Mox Opal, going to generate plenty of storm and plenty of mana for a lethal Tendrils here. And that is the match for John in 2 games, and we will see the rematch in the finals.
That's all for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please help grow the channel by subscribing. You'll be notified when we upload new videos like Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic with commentary, or Untapped, our raw tournament gameplay. Thanks for watching.